Después de horas.
Our ancestors were serfs or slaves, all of us. You know, you were a milkmaid, you milked the cow, that was it. Or you were the queen. So it was a hierarchy. And then in the 1700s, in the 18th century, people, for the first time, decided that it would be good to have a society with no slaves. And Mexico, for example, in the 1800s, in the 19th century, had a liberal constitution and started to grow. The key thing is innovation. Not investment, not exploitation, but new ideas. And it turns out it was the case that free people innovate. Well, it's because the poor countries have not allowed people to invent. Mexicans are very creative and always have been. But if you stop them from creating, you say, no, you must follow this regulation or that. Think of it this way. Do you think it would be a good idea for the government to have regulations of rock music, or of the Spanish language, or of friendship? These would all be insane, they'd be crazy. No, it's best to let people try out things. And in Mexico, it is harder to start a business than it is in, say, New Zealand, or I don't know, in Taiwan. So my advice is loosen up, get the government out of it, stop the politicians from promising wealth, let the people make the wealth, and they will. A poor man who runs a little fruit stall, if the government allows him, he'll make a little money. He'll put his children through school. They'll have small businesses too. Their children will go to university, become lawyers, TV interviewers, and other sophisticated people. And the whole world gets enriched by cooperating with other people. We often say, it's about competition. No, it's not competition, it's cooperation. I don't think inequality is much of a problem. Look, some great football player in Mexico earns a lot of money. Baseball players from Mexico go to the United States, they become stars in Major League Baseball. They make $5 million a year. Not so bad. But the reason they earn it is that I'm willing to pay money to watch them play because they're very good players. And there's nothing wrong about that. There's nothing evil about that. Look, I was just reading this morning St. Paul, the apostle, in 1 Corinthians 12. And he says, you have a gift, you have a gift, you have a gift, you have a gift. We all have a gift, God given. Let people trade their gifts, and if to become a surgeon, a brain surgeon, I need to work a long time, whereas to be a waiter in a restaurant, I don't need to work a long time. Enough brain surgeons. When someone makes a lot of money, if they make it honestly, if they're not stealing, if they earn a lot of money, that's a signal to the rest of the economy. Make more of that. Brain surgeons excellent baseball players, whatever it is. So I'm not too worried about inequality. Inequality that's caused by stealing from people, yeah, that I want to stop. I'm against slavery. I'm against that kind of poverty. That's completely crazy. Loco. It's insane to say such a thing. Your ancestors and mine, and the ancestors of everyone in this room, were unspeakably poor. My ancestors came from Ireland and Norway. Yours came from Spain, various other places. They were earning $2 a day, as like the Chinese before 1978. They were sick. I have my great-grandmother died in childbirth. My great-great-grandmother died in childbirth because it was very common for women to die in childbirth. Now it practically never happens. Less so in Mexico than in the United States, by the way. Interesting. Infant mortality. In Bangladesh, till about 20 years ago, you needed to have 6 children to get 2, because 4 would die. Now, child mortality in Bangladesh is very low. The environment of Mexico City, the air was once unbreathable. You remember that. Now it's much better. Los Angeles, the same way. It was terrible. Now it's much better. That's all improved. And income is growing at 2% a year per capita in the world in real terms.